Hello dear beautiful people, Kabara here in a very hot living room right now, but nonetheless with a production walkthrough video of one of my upcoming tracks. It's called Space Technology, it's part of the Space Technology EP. Go check it out, links are in the description, don't want to take too much time of this video or talking about that one. Anyway, this is a small production walkthrough video, meaning I will show you a little bit behind the scenes what the track consists of and how I processed it and why. And let's start by having a listen to a piece of the song now. Alright, as you can see, it's a very minimalistic one. If you take a look at the groups that I have, as you can see, it's very minimalistic. We can start with the beat group. As you can see, these are recordings because I built for the song the beat in my Roland TR-8S. And then recorded it into Ableton Live. And I often do that. Let me zoom out here. So I record maybe 16 bars or 32 bars, and then I deactivate part of the song. So for example, if I build the intro, I deactivate something like the kick by pressing the 0 button. And it's like this. I don't want the kick to be there already, so I deactivate it. Yeah, as you can see, sometimes I copy and paste something, like the kick here at the end. I might reverse it. So basically what I do, I record a certain thing, and then in Ableton, after recording it, I activate and deactivate parts of it to keep the beat changing and keep it interesting. And the other thing that I then do, as you can see here, judging by the red lines, is I do automation. So for example, this would be the clap. And I automated some reverb on it to keep it interesting. This line here will send it to a reverb, a send effect. And also the other one is going into a delay, a send delay. So if I deactivate these two and I only solo the clap, then you can listen to how it sounds before adding the automations. So it's super dry. I first add the reverb. Keep some changing in the sound itself. What I also add here is the delay to the same clap. First the reverb and then the delay. And that way the clap keeps being interesting, even though it's just a very dry recording of a clap. That's what I like about this minimal type of house music or minimal techno, is a few elements, only little elements. You can create so much by using certain effects, mostly sound effects, that are then evolving in the background without messing too much with the original sound. Similar thing I did to the closed hi-hats. So originally the closed hi-hat sounded like this. And I still have it, but I doubled it with another, like with a copy of it. And what I do there is I have this a bunch of things, actually. Mostly it's the shaper box. It's a preset called Tone Bells. Actually, with the shaper box, I just play around and see what sounds interesting and then evolve the idea further from there. But if I play it, you can hear what's going on. So you will have the dry closed hi-hats the whole time. And then the effects hi-hats is starting at, what is this, 5%, and then going into like 50%, adding on top of it. So let's have a listen. You can hear these fragments that are building up in the background of it. So this is just a closed hi-hat, and then this is the added effect. Okay, the other elements are rather a little bit, like, let's say, straight out of the TR-8S. So here's the open hi-hat. To keep the beat a bit more interesting is by adding this here, which I got from a sample pack. Let me deactivate all the processing and then play it. As you can see, I do a lot of the stuff myself by either recording it, using software synthesizer or hardware synthesizer. To give it an added touch, samples are completely fine, especially if you process them a lot. Okay, let's have a listen to the unprocessed sample. It's pretty much already a whole drum loop, basically a whole song itself, because it has bass as well. And that is too much for just dropping it into the song. What I did is I only wanted to have a little bit of the percussions in the background. So I started to filter out a lot of the frequencies. As you can see, I had another automation here going into the delay. And this is what I ended up with. It's really just a little bit punchy in the background. Well, not punchy, wobbly almost, if you listen to it. As part of the whole drum group, you can barely hear it. But you can hear it if I don't have it in there. Something's missing. So this is without it. And now I add it back in. Alright, so those are the main elements of the drums. Processing, pretty standard and not too much, so I did the whole mixing, the whole leveling of the elements in the mixer here, and then in the end I liked the sound, but it was too quiet, often is the case. And then what I like to do is I add either a limiter or utility in the beginning and just increase it until it reaches maybe -12, -6, depending on what I want to have. Sometimes I use clipper, but it turns out in this one I barely used it. You can see the clipper's not really doing anything. Maybe I had it harder, but then it was too distorted and I dialed it back. Added some little bit of dynamics and saturation. Probably I had more swell and then I dialed it back. Some Q compression to fit it all together. Actually, as you can see, I did a lot of processing with the elements of the drums already. There's not so much that I did in the drum bass at the end. Better takes a sip of water. Okay, continuing with the bass group. The bass group is also, again, very minimalistic. What a surprise. And as you can see, it's a recording as well, because I did the bass programming also in a Roland TR-8S. Okay, so as you can see, this one is super distorted. Not super distorted, but quite saturated. I again did this little trick of activating and deactivating part of it. Then the processing of this one is a lot of boosting the highs, having some parallel compression and some glue compression, another glue compression because of the sidechaining with the kick. This one is mostly experimental, changing these things like the equalizer and the compression until it fits the way I want it to fit. So all in all, very subtle. The reason why this one is so subtle is because more of the other elements that I have, the synths and the piano sounds, they should be more in the front for this track. So that's why I had to keep the bass a little bit more in the background. So go over to the piano step group. Also, I recorded this in the TR-8S. I think that the whole song basically was done in this wonderful drum computer and then processed afterwards. Have a listen to piano step recordings. very lo-fi, very distorted. They are similar, and then I deactivate and activate as part of it so the other one can shine through. I process them in a similar way, not so much basically filtering out the opposite side, but it had some overlap in the middle frequency sections. Group in the end added some more distortion, as you could hear, some more filtering. In the end, not much. And then the last group I have is the pads. They are MIDI, some preset for the operator, for this one here. Very spacey, lots of modulation to keep it interesting, a delay and a cutoff in combination. This takes most of the part of the middle and higher frequency. So again, these piano steps, they were supposed to be more in the front, but as you could hear, they are more in the back now. Having more of the percussion job than the main elements. And then the pad is extended by some more synthesizer things. Here I just copied the MIDI recording. It's a serum pad, one that is high and one that is rather in the mid. And then I even have another pad-like thing this time. It's from the Arturia Analog Lab, some preset. I remember that I actually recorded it in using the piano. And I uploaded a short video some while ago where I actually did this. I remember it's the one with the Dumbo, the Dumbo looking at me playing it. Anyway, putting it all together. Very spacey, which is the theme of the whole track. And I should not forget it, I have a vocal here. It's a recording from some 60s interview of some NASA scientists.
What's the difference between a scientist astronaut and an astronaut?
And this together with the pads is a really good atmosphere setting, breakdown, drop type of thing.
What's the difference between a scientist astronaut and an astronaut?
None of the scientists astronauts have been in space. Go up there and use the hardware for scientific purposes. I was fortunate enough to be selected.
And this is how it all put together sounds.
What's the difference between a scientist astronaut and an astronaut?
Okay, that's quite trippy.
Astronauts been in space. Go up there and use the hardware for scientific purposes.
Oh, that's fun.
I was fortunate enough to be selected.
Okay, then we are back to the main channel. Yeah, so the stage setting had it too low, so I pushed it by 14 decibel. Makes sense to put into the master channel. Some parallel compression with the OTT. Then I use Ozone for mastering. I don't know, I play around with it until I like it. The only thing I can say is I found it to be better, like the maximizer part to be not so quickly. I like the smooth or even more than the smooth setting. I'm a beginner when it comes to this, so don't trust me on that. Then my lovely new plugin that I bought, the Soothe 2, got it on a discount. It is really great for filtering out the resonance in the frequencies that are otherwise just annoying to your ears. Google this plugin. I cannot give it justice and describe it. And these effects are mostly used for streaming and for seeing the equalizer spectrums. And then that's it. Whew, I better take a cold bath now. Check out my EP, right? If you like this track, there are 2 others. Maybe I do another walkthrough video on them. And see you soon. Bye bye.